We got every real. Yeah.
Bless you, bro. Ain't God good, bro. I know you throw that ball.
When you look at his athletic ability, what he's done, you know, and he's still a young guy. And so I think he's just going to continue to get better. He's got the tools to play. You know, he's a great corner as well as a great wideout. And so I don't think there's any question. You want to get your best athletes on the field. And the more times you get them on the field, the better off you are. And so there's no question, you know, I would entertain him, you know, going both ways. And obviously he's proven he can do that. And obviously he's got the talent to do it.
While the Cleveland Browns are officially on break until training camp, Shedeur Sanders is doing something that should have every Browns fan paying attention. Most players around the league are taking advantage of the downtime, spending time with family, relaxing, or simply enjoying a few weeks away from football before the grind begins again. But Shedeur Sanders appears to have a completely different mindset. Instead of disappearing for the summer, he has already found his way back onto the field, putting in extra work at UNLV and reuniting with Justin and Bucky in a move that has fans talking all over social media. The video itself wasn't some major announcement. There were no headlines from ESPN. There was no press conference. There was no dramatic statement about becoming the Browns' starting quarterback. But that's exactly why people are paying attention. Shedeur didn't need to say anything. His actions said enough. The footage showed him back in a familiar environment, working on his craft, while the Browns continue their break before training camp. For many fans, that says more about his mentality than any interview ever could. What makes this moment even more interesting is the timing. The quarterback competition in Cleveland remains one of the biggest stories surrounding the team.
You know, but each game he's made some plays, and he's made some big time throws, and some throws that you look and you say, those are NFL throws. Those are NFL plays that he's making. You know, as with any rookie, not a finished product yet. There's things you want to see get better, but I think he's shown enough and he's earned the right to say, show us that you can be a starting NFL quarterback and lead a franchise. And that to me is what Shedeur has shown in these 3 games, and maybe, you know, more so than any yesterday. I thought he made a number of really good plays. He showed the accuracy that he had in college, the touch on the football. He throws a very catchable ball, and he's shown that he can make some of those big time throws.
Every fan has an opinion about who should get opportunities when training camp opens. Some believe experience will win out. Others believe the future of the franchise could eventually belong to someone younger. Regardless of where people stand, one thing is becoming difficult to ignore. Shedeur Sanders is approaching this offseason like somebody who understands that every single day matters. Throughout his football journey, Shedeur has often been praised for his confidence. Sometimes critics focus on that confidence and turn it into a negative story. They say he's too flashy. They say he gets too much attention. They say cameras follow him everywhere. But moments like this tell a different story. Cameras may follow Shedeur, but they are also capturing something many people overlook: the work, the preparation, the countless hours spent trying to improve before the lights ever come on. That's why the reunion with Justin and Bucky immediately caught people's attention. These aren't random workout partners. These are people connected to a period of development in Shedeur's football career. Returning to train alongside familiar faces isn't just about comfort. It's about maximizing every opportunity to improve. The best athletes often return to trusted environments where they know they can focus completely on getting better. That appears to be exactly what Shedeur is doing right now. What's especially impressive is that nobody is forcing him to be there. The Browns coaching staff isn't standing over his shoulder. There are no mandatory team activities taking place. Nobody would criticize him for taking a short vacation before training camp. In fact, most players around the league are doing exactly that, yet Shedeur chose a different path. He chose more reps, more throws, more preparation, more work. And that's where Browns fans are starting to get excited. Not because one off-season workout suddenly decides a quarterback competition.
I do think he's a franchise quarterback. I love his game. I've obviously been watching him for a number of years. I know his father intimately well, and wish him the best, of course, as well. So what Shedeur's been able to do has been remarkable. You know, to start first going back to when he was young before he went off to college, but you know, success has followed him. It's not a surprise for anyone who's followed Deion's career and what he's done as a coach as well. So I'm excited for Colorado. I'm excited for Shedeur, and really looking forward to seeing what he might do at the NFL level. My expectation is that he's going to have a hell of a career.
That's not how football works, but fans understand what these moments represent. They reveal mindset, they reveal commitment, they reveal how seriously a player takes the opportunity sitting in front of him. Shedeur Sanders understands that opportunities in the NFL are never guaranteed. Every practice matters. Every impression matters. Every chance to improve matters. Social media quickly filled with reactions from fans who noticed the same thing. Many pointed out that while the Browns are technically on vacation, Shedeur appears to be treating every week like training camp is already around the corner. Others praised his work ethic and focus. Some even argued that this type of dedication is exactly why he continues to attract attention despite being one of the youngest quarterbacks in the room. Whether those reactions are right or wrong, one thing is clear. People are watching. And the truth is, this story isn't really about UNLV. It isn't even about Justin and Bucky. Not entirely. The bigger story is what this moment represents. While everyone waits for training camp to begin, Shedeur Sanders is refusing to waste time. He's treating this offseason as another chance to get better, another chance to sharpen his game, and another chance to prepare for whatever opportunities might come his way once the Browns return to the field.
It'll be great. Whatever one he picks, he'll be great at too. I think Shedeur had, obviously he's got talent. He can make all the throws. He's a great athlete, can move around, has a great feel for the game. And so I think that, he'll keep his nose to the grindstone. His father's going to tell him what a jump it is from college football to the NFL because it's a huge jump. But, he's got the ability to do it. Obviously, hopefully he gets in the right situation like Bo Nix has got into with the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton. Hopefully Shedeur gets in the same situation in the NFL where you have that, you can click with that offensive coordinator, somebody that, and a quarterback coach and a head coach, and somebody that will bring him along step by step and not rush him into situations. And so, but Shedeur can do it. There's no question about that. And hopefully he gets in the right organization that helps him get there.
For a player trying to prove himself at the highest level of football, that mindset could end up being one of his biggest strengths. The thing that makes this off-season workout story so fascinating is that it feels very different from the usual NFL summer content fans see every year. Every quarterback posts training clips. Every player uploads workout videos. Every team talks about being locked in and ready for the season. But with Shedeur Sanders, people aren't just watching the throws. They're watching the mentality behind them. That's what has Browns fans paying attention right now. When the video surfaced showing Shedeur back at UNLV with Justin and Bucky, many fans immediately saw something bigger than another off-season throwing session. They saw a player who understands that the quarterback competition never really stops. Just because the Browns aren't holding practices doesn't mean the race suddenly disappears. Every day between now and training camp is another chance to improve, another chance to sharpen mechanics, and another chance to build confidence heading into one of the most important stretches of his football career. What separates great competitors from everyone else is often what they do when nobody is watching. The NFL season hasn't started. There are no reporters standing on the sideline taking notes. There are no coaches grading every throw. There are no depth chart updates being released. Yet Shedeur is still showing up and putting in work. That's the type of thing fans notice because it reveals something deeper than talent. It reveals commitment. For Shedeur, this offseason carries even more importance because so much attention continues to surround his development. Ever since arriving in the NFL, people have debated what kind of player he can become. Some believe he has all the tools necessary to eventually become a starting quarterback. Others remain skeptical and want to see more proof before making that judgment.
I love this hire already. I think Shedeur will really lean into this style of offense. I'm excited for this group, and I'm glad you mentioned Njoku as well because he's bringing another bad joker to the huddle as well, and Harold Fannin. And now you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 Pro Bowlers, including Shedeur. If Judkins can get it done next year, that's what they call a core, and you can have confidence with a core, and you can start to build through the draft. They're going to circle the wagons. They're going to say it's us against the world, it's Shedeur Sanders against the world, and let's build a bully. And bullies have won historically.
Yeah. To me, Shedeur Sanders is the starter on this team. Dylan Gabriel's the backup, which I think is what he's going to be for his career and can be a good one. I'd get Deshaun Watson out of town. This shouldn't even be a discussion we're even lingering over anymore. It's over. It's done. Figure it out.
The only way to answer those questions is through preparation and performance. That's exactly why moments like this matter. One of the biggest challenges for any young quarterback is maintaining momentum during the long gap between off-season programs and training camp. It's easy to lose focus when there are no team activities on the schedule. It's easy to tell yourself that a few weeks off won't matter, but the players who separate themselves often think differently. They understand that improvement doesn't happen by accident. Every extra workout, every throwing session, and every hour spent studying the game creates an advantage that could become important later. That's what many fans believe they're seeing from Shedeur right now. They see somebody treating this break as an opportunity rather than a vacation. Instead of stepping away from football, he's finding ways to stay connected to it. Instead of slowing down, he's continuing to build. That's not a guarantee of future success, but it is the kind of approach coaches love to see from young players trying to establish themselves. The reunion with Justin and Bucky also adds another layer to the story. Athletes often perform their best when they're surrounded by people they trust. Familiar training partners can help create an environment where improvement becomes the only focus. There are no distractions, no outside noise, no endless debates about depth charts or quarterback rankings. Just football, just work, just preparation. For a player entering such an important stage of his career, that environment can be incredibly valuable.
Would I trade Shedeur Sanders if I'm Cleveland? Just based on the money he's bringing in on merch and jersey sales alone, no. As somebody who watched him at CU and thought unbiasedly, like he's got some of the tools to be an NFL quarterback. Has anybody watched Deshaun Watson the last few years? He was terrible and he was injured. Monken's a good fit to develop him, and I think that's been the biggest problem so far. If you recall, Pat Shurmur was his offensive coordinator at CU, as I thought he was one of the worst offensive coordinators I've ever watched, and that's the guy who developed him the last 2 years at CU. So I don't think Sean Payton would be a good coach for Shedeur. Who would be a good coach for Shedeur? I'm going to say I think it's Todd Monken. Towards the end of the season, Shedeur started to build chemistry with the offensive skill players. I think he was betrayed a little bit by Jerry Jeudy and some horrific drops, and that's something Broncos fans can relate to as well.
What's interesting is that Shedeur never needed to turn this into a public statement. He could have posted a message about proving doubters wrong. He could have talked about his goals for training camp. He could have made headlines with a bold prediction. Instead, the story became viral because he simply showed up and got to work. In many ways, that's what fans appreciate most. They don't want speeches. They want evidence. They want to see a player investing time into becoming better. As training camp gets closer, the spotlight on Cleveland's quarterback room will only continue to grow. Every practice rep will be analyzed. Every throw will be discussed. Every report from camp will generate reactions from fans and media alike. Shedeur understands that reality. He knows opportunities have to be earned. That's why these off-season workouts feel significant. They represent preparation for the moment when the real competition begins. One of the most overlooked parts of this entire story is that Shedeur Sanders never actually said anything. Think about that for a second. In today's sports world, players are constantly making headlines through interviews, podcasts, social media posts, and bold statements. Every comment gets analyzed. Every quote becomes a debate. Yet somehow, Shedeur managed to create one of the most talked about off-season moments simply by showing up to work. That alone says a lot about where he is mentally right now. The reality is that Shedeur could easily be frustrated. He could be focused on everything that has happened over the past year. He could be listening to critics, responding to doubters, or getting caught up in endless conversations about where he should be on the Browns' depth chart. Instead, the video from UNLV tells a completely different story. Rather than spending energy talking, he's spending energy preparing. Rather than trying to win arguments online, he's trying to get better on the field. That's a mindset that often separates players who last in the NFL from players who don't. Talent matters, of course. Physical ability matters. Arm strength matters. But at the highest level, everyone is talented. Everyone can throw. Everyone can make plays. The difference often comes down to who is willing to keep improving when nobody is forcing them to do it. That's why so many fans saw something meaningful in this workout session. What's particularly interesting is how this fits into the larger narrative surrounding Shedeur's career. For years, he's been one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in football. Whether it was high school, college, or now the NFL, attention has always followed him. Some players thrive when nobody is watching. Shedeur has had to learn how to perform while everyone is watching. Every throw gets discussed, every mistake gets highlighted, every success gets questioned. That's a unique level of pressure for any quarterback. Yet when this offseason arrived, he didn't seem interested in making headlines. He wasn't trying to create controversy. He wasn't calling anybody out. He wasn't making predictions. Instead, he returned to a familiar environment with Justin and Bucky and got back to the basics. Throwing, training, learning, improving. Sometimes the simplest approach ends up being the most powerful. Many Browns fans believe this is exactly the kind of mentality Cleveland wants from young players. The organization has spent years trying to build a culture based on accountability, preparation, and competition. Coaches love players who focus on what they can control instead of worrying about everything they can't. Shedeur can't control public opinions. He can't control media narratives. He can't control what people say about him online. What he can control is how hard he works, how prepared he becomes, and how seriously he approaches every opportunity. That's why this workout video resonated with so many people. It wasn't about showing off. It wasn't about creating hype. It was about demonstrating commitment. Every rep represented another step toward becoming a better quarterback. Every throw represented another chance to improve timing, accuracy, and consistency. These are the details that often determine who succeeds once training camp arrives. The timing also matters because training camp is getting closer with every passing day. Before long, the Browns will return to the practice field. Reporters will be back. Fans will be watching every update. Coaches will evaluate every quarterback in the room. The margin for error becomes smaller when competition begins. Players who arrive prepared immediately put themselves in a stronger position than players who spend the offseason trying to catch up. That's what makes Shedeur's current approach so important. He's not waiting for training camp to start before getting serious. He's acting like the competition has already begun. While some people see a simple offseason workout, others see a quarterback making sure he's ready for whatever challenges are waiting for him when the Browns return. That level of urgency can become a major advantage. What makes this story even more interesting is that the quarterback battle in Cleveland may be on pause publicly, but behind the scenes, it never truly stops. The Browns might be on break until training camp, but every quarterback in that room understands the reality of the NFL. Jobs are earned long before the season begins. Reputations are built long before the games start. Every workout, every throw, and every day of preparation can eventually make a difference when opportunities arrive. That's why Shedeur Sanders being back at UNLV has generated so much discussion among Browns fans. Many people aren't looking at this as a simple off-season workout. They're looking at it as evidence that he understands exactly what's at stake. Training camp isn't some distant event on the calendar. It's approaching fast. Before long, coaches will be evaluating every rep, every decision, and every quarterback's readiness. Players who use this downtime wisely often give themselves a much better chance once the competition officially begins. For young quarterbacks especially, preparation can be everything. Physical talent gets attention, but preparation is what allows talent to show up consistently under pressure. The NFL moves fast. Defenses are faster, smarter, and more complex than anything most players have faced before. Quarterbacks who arrive unprepared often struggle immediately. That's why the smartest players spend months getting ready for moments that may only last a few seconds during a game. That seems to be exactly how Shedeur is approaching this offseason. Rather than treating the Browns' break as a chance to relax completely, he's treating it as another stage of his development. Every throwing session becomes valuable. Every workout becomes important. Every opportunity to sharpen his mechanics becomes another investment in his future. That's the mentality many successful quarterbacks develop early in their careers. What's fascinating is that this approach matches what people have said about Shedeur throughout much of his football journey. Long before he entered the NFL, coaches and teammates often talked about his commitment to improving. While fans usually see the highlights, the touchdowns, and the big moments, those inside the program often see something different. They see the preparation behind those moments. They see the hours spent working on details most people never notice. Those details can end up making a huge difference later. The reunion with Justin and Bucky only strengthens that idea. Players usually return to trusted training environments for a reason. They know where they can get quality work. They know who can push them. They know who understands their goals. For Shedeur, this doesn't look like a casual off-season appearance. It looks like a quarterback intentionally putting himself in the best possible position to improve before training camp arrives. Meanwhile, Browns fans continue debating what the quarterback room might look like once practices begin again. Every fan has a different opinion. Some believe experience should carry the most weight. Others believe potential and long-term upside deserve more attention. Those discussions aren't going away anytime soon. In fact, they're probably only going to get louder as training camp gets closer. But what Shedeur is doing right now removes himself from those debates entirely. He's not trying to win conversations. He's trying to win preparation. He understands that when camp begins, opinions won't matter nearly as much as performance. The coaches won't be grading social media reactions. They won't be ranking players based on off-season narratives. They'll be watching throws, decision-making, consistency, leadership, and execution. Those are the things that determine opportunities. That's why so many fans see this off-season work as a positive sign. Not because it guarantees anything, but because it demonstrates the right approach. NFL careers are often built on habits. Players who consistently find ways to improve usually put themselves in position to succeed when opportunities appear. Players who wait for opportunities before preparing are often already behind by the time those chances arrive. As more footage and updates continue to emerge throughout the summer, people will keep paying attention to what Shedeur Sanders is doing. Every training clip will be analyzed. Every report will spark conversations. That's simply part of being one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in football. But through all the noise, one thing has become increasingly clear. While the Browns are enjoying their final weeks before training camp, Shedeur Sanders is treating every day like it matters. If there's one reason Browns fans have become so invested in videos like this, it's because they believe work ethic reveals the truth long before the depth chart does. Fans understand that coaches don't hand out opportunities simply because someone is popular. They don't award playing time based on social media engagement or jersey sales. Eventually, every player has to prove himself. That's why so many people reacted strongly when they saw Shedeur Sanders back on the field at UNLV instead of spending his offseason sitting back and waiting for training camp. Across social media, one theme kept appearing over and over again. Fans weren't necessarily talking about individual throws. They weren't breaking down mechanics frame by frame. They were talking about mentality. The reaction wasn't, "Look at this pass." The reaction was, "Look at this mindset." For many supporters, that's what stood out the most. Here is a young quarterback who could easily be enjoying his time off, yet he's choosing to continue working while the Browns are still on break. That kind of dedication resonates with football fans because they know how difficult the NFL really is. Making an NFL roster is hard. Earning playing time is even harder. Becoming a starting quarterback is one of the most difficult accomplishments in professional sports. Every year, talented players enter the league believing they can succeed. The ones who separate themselves are often the players willing to outwork expectations when nobody is demanding it from them. That's why so many Browns fans see Shedeur as an intriguing player. Whether someone believes he'll become a starter or not, it's difficult to ignore the effort. Fans respect players who continue grinding when there are no cameras from the team, no official practices, and no immediate rewards. Those are the moments where character becomes visible. Those are the moments where preparation starts creating future opportunities. Many supporters also view this as another example of Shedeur refusing to let outside noise control his focus. Over the past several months, there has been no shortage of opinions about him. Analysts have debated him, fans have debated him, former players have debated him. Every aspect of his game has been discussed publicly. Some people have been extremely supportive, others have remained skeptical. Yet through all of it, Shedeur appears to keep returning to the same solution: work harder. That's one reason his supporters remain so loyal. They see someone who continues moving forward regardless of what people are saying. Instead of spending energy responding to every criticism, he's spending energy preparing for training camp. Instead of getting distracted by debates, he's investing in development. Fans notice those decisions because they understand how easy it would be to do the opposite. Another reason this story has gained so much traction is because Browns fans are desperate for reasons to be optimistic about the future. Every offseason brings questions. Every training camp brings uncertainty. Fans naturally look for signs that young players are progressing. They look for evidence that someone is taking the next step. When they see a quarterback putting in extra work during a period when many players are resting, it gives them something positive to rally around. Of course, nobody is claiming that one off-season workout determines the future. Football doesn't work that way. There are still practices ahead. There are still evaluations ahead. There are still countless opportunities for players throughout training camp and preseason. But fans understand that success is usually built through small habits repeated consistently over time. That's why moments like this matter. They're small pieces of a much larger picture. The video from UNLV may have lasted only a short time, but the message many fans took from it was powerful. They saw a player acting like every day counts. They saw a quarterback who appears determined to maximize every opportunity available to him. Most importantly, they saw someone who isn't waiting for coaches to tell him when to improve. He's already doing it on his own. As training camp continues getting closer, excitement around the Browns quarterback situation will only increase. Every report will generate headlines. Every practice will create new conversations. Every performance will be analyzed. But before any of that begins, fans are already drawing one conclusion from what they've seen this summer. Shedeur Sanders isn't approaching this offseason like someone satisfied with where he is. He's approaching it like someone still chasing something bigger. And maybe that's the biggest reason Browns fans can't stop talking about this simple offseason workout. It wasn't a highlight reel from training camp. It wasn't a preseason game. It wasn't a major announcement from the organization. It was just Shedeur Sanders doing something that serious competitors always do when nobody is forcing them to do it: putting in the work. While the Browns enjoy their final weeks before training camp, Shedeur is already acting like the competition has started. Every throw at UNLV, every workout session with Justin and Bucky, and every extra rep sends the same message. He's not waiting for an opportunity to arrive before getting ready. He's getting ready now so that when the opportunity comes, he'll be prepared to take advantage of it. That's what makes this story different from the countless off-season workout videos fans see every summer. This isn't just about football drills. It's about mindset. It's about discipline. It's about a young quarterback understanding that the NFL doesn't reward potential alone. It rewards preparation. The players who maximize every day often give themselves the best chance to succeed when the pressure is highest. Training camp is right around the corner, and when the Browns finally return to the field, all eyes will be on the quarterback room. Every rep will matter. Every practice will matter. Every opportunity will matter. But if these past few weeks have shown us anything, it's that Shedeur Sanders isn't planning to show up unprepared. While others were resting, he was working. While others were waiting, he was improving. Now the question becomes simple. Will all of this extra work pay off once training camp begins? Can Shedeur carry this momentum into the most important stretch of his young NFL career? Browns fans are about to find out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any Browns news, Shedeur Sanders updates, or training camp coverage. And let me know in the comments. What does this offseason grind tell you about Shedeur Sanders' chances heading into training camp? Is this the mentality of a future starter, or are fans reading too much into it? I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.